Welcome to Cycle of Erosion. Objectives. After completion of this lesson, you will be able to understand the concept of erosion and know the cycle of erosion and landforms associated. Introduction. The geographical cycle or cycle of erosion is an ideal theory that briefs about the changes in landscape. The model begins with the wearing away that follows the rise in land of an area above the base or sea level and culminate, if the conditions is allowed, in the formation of a peneplain. Topography that shows evidence of multiple cycles of erosion, they are called polycyclic. The cycle of erosion and some of its related terms are very popular. Erosion. The word erosion is a Latin word erodere, which means erode. Erosion in fact is a dynamic process that involves removing weathered materials from basic rocks. The law of erosion states that rate and amount of erosion increases earlier than the attainment of equilibrium in between the transporting potential of the river and its load while its attainment in their equilibrium. The rate of erosion depends on parameters like river load, pace and channel gradient of the fluvial erosion. Erosion will become maximum whilst river having vertical channel gradient and most fulfilling amount of load of right size and excessive caliber flows with high speed. Fluvial erosion. The erosional work of the river is carried out as chemical erosion and mechanical erosion. Chemical erosion includes solution and carbonation at the same time as mechanical erosion accommodates corrosion or abrasion, hydraulic movement and attrition. Base level of fluvial erosion. J.W. Powell postulated the idea of base level in 1875. He says the oceans or sea level will become the grand base level below which no land may be degraded. Besides grand base level, there are local base ranges in a specific river. First one, grand base level, is sometimes called as permanent base level that's decided by using the ocean level. Base level is a gentle curve which rises and becomes concave upstream. The upward thrust and fall in sea level additionally rise or lowering of base level. Second, temporary base level. Numerous brief base levels in a river course because of the ramification of things, for example, due to the presence of lakes, distinct beds of difficult and soft rocks, etc. The transient base level are eliminated while the entire course of the river attains its grand base level is only decided by the sea level. Third one is local base level, is the level of the confluence of the tributary streams with its main stream. The tributary streams first erode their valleys in keeping with the level of their confluence. Finally, the sea level becomes the grand base level of erosion for the complete drainage basin. Cycle of erosion. Cyclic concept postulated first in geology by way of Scottish geologist James Hutton in 1785. While he propounded the concept of cyclic nature of the earth, past and present is key to the past. The concept of cyclic nature of earth's history afterwards transformed into the concept of uniformitarianism. which states that the similar physical procedures and laws that have operated all through geological time, even though not necessarily with the similar intensity as now, probably based on the inheritance of Hutton's idea of the cyclic nature of the earth past and the evolutionary principles of Charles Darwin, origin of species through natural selection. William Morris Davies, 1850 to 1934 AD, in his theory of cycle of erosion within the purview of the geographical cycle of erosion, 1899. Though the concept of complete cycle of river life or course already propounded in 1899 by him. The Davies version of geographical cycle of erosion is primarily based on the fundamental idea of sequential inland forms through time, like the evolution of an organic life, such as youth, mature and old age of an organism. In keeping with Davies, landforms go through sequential modifications through time. The crust is designed basically by two actions, viz. Internal forces and external forces, wherein internal forces create irregularities on the earth's crustal surface from within the subsurface of the earth, making numerous styles of landscapes of different sizes, while external forces creating from the ecosystem, that is rivers, wind, glaciers, sea waves, groundwater, periglacier and so on. Here vertical irregularities created with the help of endogenic forces are ultimately brought down the topography to low flat terrain, simply referred as the peneplain. The entire duration of the growth of topography by way of endogenic procedures and the demolition with the aid of exogenic procedures is known as cycle of erosion, which Davies described as follows: normal cycle of erosion. The cycle of erosion of fluvial action is referred to as normal cycle of erosion due to the circumstances that fluvial landforms are widely found, transforming large parts on the earth as active geomorphic agent. However, water additionally act vital function in glacial and arid areas. W. M. Davies took humid temperate regions as the utmost common condition for fluvial cycle of erosion. The regular cycle of erosion starts with rise in land with regard to sea level. When the land rises, the rivers take up its course and their erosional works also starts off. The rate of rise in land is very fast than rate of erosion, with the outcome of absolute elevation from sea level to relative cutting is high. After a while, rise in land stops and erosion turns into extra energetic. The land area tectonically remains stable, that is, there may be crustal balance for long subsidence of land. There may be innovative creation of river valleys in progressive sequence, and the complete land location gradually passes through three successive stages of young, mature and old stage and is ultimately changed to low rolling surface. Accordingly, the penultimate end landforms occur in cycle of erosion is called peneplain, that is characterized with rippling floor. Residual convexo-concave low hills known as monadnocks, eunuchs and mossers. For that reason, the region has to pass through the following levels of its transformation, from proper rise in land to its makeover into peneplain of distinctly low flat topography. W. M. Davies has put this whole process of normal cycle of erosion into three following levels of youth, maturity and old. And each level has been in addition subdivided into three subdivisions as early youth, center youth and past youth, and so on. For this reason, the landscapes additionally turn out to be younger, mature and old with the progression of ordinary cycle of erosion. Thus, panorama evolution through three following levels, the importance of river valleys additionally passes through three consecutive stages of their evolution, and the rivers turn out to be younger rivers, mature rivers and old rivers, which are the subsequent structures of sequential stages of normal cycle of erosion. Young stage. Main streams or consecutive streams are originated when the land rise up of region due to internal forces. Initially, the streams are very few in variety and brief in length. Only a few rills or small streams of the main streams are originated. The slanting land are ruled with the aid of numerous rills and gullies in preference to massive streams. Those rills and gullies lengthen their longitudinal profiles through headward erosion. Progressively, the primary streams deepen their valleys. The starting place and the evolution of river system with its tributaries take dendritic drainage pattern. The rivers always involved in fast charges of downcutting of valleys due to the fact the carrying ability of the rivers is extremely high because of excessive velocity of drift charges, which controlled by very steep channel surface slanting. Vigorous transporting capacity allows the rivers to hold massive boulders, tools of erosion of pretty accurate length and caliber, which help in the pothole boring of the river floor. It is said as pothole drilling is common and dominant manner of perpendicular action valley digging out within the young phase of normal cycle of erosion. The valley will become very slender and deep with the most vertical aspect facets because of non-stop energetic down reducing of the valley floor at extraordinary rapid rate. The valley facets are convex. As the consequent young valleys transform to V-shaped and are known as gorges and canyons. Here, valley floor are studded with several potholes. The interstream place or water divides or land areas between the valleys of main streams are widespread and laid low with denudation action because valley widening via horizontal erosion is less powerful in the initial and medium levels. The valley profile characterized by means of waterfalls which always recede upstream. Maximum of the waterfalls and nick factors disappear by way of final stage or old stage. The rivers are underneath loaded and thus available energy is more than the work to be completed. The rivers end its young stage when most relative reliefs are formed where river seizes is maximum. In this stage of cycle of erosion, principal rivers with vertical channel slope and extra volume of water seizes minor creeks of low channel slope through headward erosion.